So Jazz, we've been getting a lot of questions from clients on whether or not they should continue to post on Instagram, because Instagram, as a lot of people know, is a pretty saturated market there. And some people feel like, if I'm not going to win, if I'm not going to get any traction, then why should I even bother?
Yep.
So I wanted to take the next 10 minutes to talk a little bit about the ways we think you can still win on Instagram.
Okay, I mean, for me, especially in the last 5 to say about 7 months, you need to be doing the short form content in Instagram, which is Instagram Reels. So it still till this day is 1 minute or less. In fact, if you can get, and I know you did one not too long ago, that was like 26 seconds or something like that, right? Which you might think like, okay, either 1 minute's too long for people, and then it's like, oh my God, 26 seconds is too short. But if you can have a really good hook at the start, meaning the 2 ways to make sure that you get the highest return on your investment, 3 things that you should stay away from when selling your own property, and then actually just get into the video. I think a lot of people, and sometimes you and I kind of chuckle, they start off with, hey guys, and or hi, my name is Jazz. Well, they're on your profile. They don't need to know that your name is Jazz.
And or they'll give the whole, like, this is the brokerage that I'm from, and this, right? Like they just give a whole rundown,
right? And then to do it in 26 seconds, like you did that video. Look, I think there's definitely a place for long form content. We go 10 minutes on this podcast. I have my own podcast that I go like sometimes an hour and a half. There's, Joe Rogan goes 3 hours. There's definitely a place for that. But with Instagram specifically, what the algorithm and Instagram themselves want, make sure you also follow the creators page on Instagram. I think it's one of the best pages on that platform because they keep you posted with all the new stuff that Instagram has been implementing. You need to do 1 minute and less videos.
So I think to sum it up right now, as of this recording, which is April 2022, you want to make sure that you're following whatever the platform that Instagram is kind of pushing towards. So if today it's short form Reels, tomorrow that might change, right?
And great point. Like, Instagram started as a photo app.
Yeah.
Right? Not to say that photos are no longer being pushed within the algorithm, just not as much as Instagram Reels, because it's all about video content. I think if you're still doing photos, try to find ways to actually add maybe some carousels to it, because you can actually add a lot more value to your posts. So you take that, call it 1 minute video about the 3 mistakes that home sellers make. Whatever you said in it, you can turn that into a carousel, because now you got a 4-post carousel. The title, 3 mistakes
and
that
that one's
make.
really good when you do a carousel, because it actually allows the viewer to stop and think, oh my gosh, there's more. So they spend more time looking at your post versus like a stagnant photo.
It was either the podcast before this or the one before that, where we spoke about the metrics that really matter. And with content nowadays, it's about shares and saves. Carousels and Instagram Reels are amazing when it comes to shares and saves.
So I think this brings me to, where I think people should be. The second important point to note is that you need to test stuff, guys. Okay, so the amount of times
Wait,
that
you
people
haven't figured it out?
Test. What do you mean?
I was like, you haven't figured it out yet? No, obviously not.
Yes. No, of course not. So some days I post something and I get a lot of traction and a lot of engagement. And then I think, okay, tomorrow I'm going to post something similar. I'll probably get equal amount of traction and engagement. But it didn't work. It didn't hit. Either the timing wasn't right. What I said or the aesthetics of the piece weren't right. The music wasn't right. And you're never going to know. And I think people view their own posts with, like, they judge it too harshly. So what they'll do is they'll take a look. Maybe they had someone else edit it for them. They sent it to somebody to do it for them, and they get it back, and they're like, oh, I don't really like this. But that's fine that you don't like it. But you don't know that maybe your followers would like it. You have no idea. And so it's important to just put stuff out there and test it. It's not a failure if it doesn't bring you massive success. It's just another piece of content so that you're in front of your audience.
And the audience that I think most of us want to get in front of, our clients being, and the people who are watching and listening to this being real estate agents and mortgage brokers, are your own clients. Like, you don't need to have 10,000, 15,000, 150 million followers. You just need the right amount of followers. You could have 52 followers, and the one person sees your reel, and the right person sees your carousel, and they're like, you know what, I was actually thinking about selling my home. I was actually thinking about investing. Oh my God, I just went to a cocktail party yesterday and they were asking about investing. Let me share this video with them. I mean, how many times at the start of our journey with content creation, Laura, did you know, at that time we maybe only had 52 followers, right? Especially with the podcast that you and I started, like the Jazz Tackar podcast. What, my mom, your mom were listening, kind of thing. If that. And then over time, our clients started to listen to it. We didn't have hundreds of thousands of downloads at that time. We have that now. We didn't have it at that time, but the right people were listening, which was our clients. And if you've done business with people, they know how you speak. They know how you look. They know that Laura has a raspy voice. You know what I mean? Like, they know all these things, that they're not judging you as harshly as you think they are. They're actually going to give you the benefit of the doubt. It's a great place to test on, because they'll also tell you, if you ask, meaning when you call them or when you email them or in your contact, hey, give me feedback. Like I say it all the time, use my line if it fits for you. Like I always say, give me all the feedback. I'm a big boy, you can tell, like I can handle it. Give me the feedback, that's how I know I'm gonna get better.
So that's actually so interesting, because not only in the videos can you be asking for that engagement, but the third point I wanted to make mention of is that you should write longer captions. So a lot of people, they've been watching Emily in Paris, and she writes these like
What is this?
3-line, this is an amazing TV show.
It's like a Netflix show?
I think it's Netflix. I'm getting, okay,
Yes,
the guys in the
gave
room
a-
are giving me some
yes,
of these.
gave a this
Okay,
one.
I binge watched this on
Have
my
you
way
seen
home
it yet?
from Argentina.
It's trash, okay, go.
It's so
Don't
good.
take our opinion, it's
Come on,
subjective. But see how
but
that
it's
is?
my thing, right? It's about fashion, and it's
But-
this
but-
person in Paris.
But really quickly, see how subjective
Exactly.
content is?
Yeah.
You think it's awesome. I'm sure it has 100 million views on it,
Yeah.
or whatever it is, every
They already
episode.
got their 3rd season.
And Yas is like,
Yeah.
first it was, then he
It
says
can't be
it's
that
trash.
bad if that
Yeah,
many people are liking it.
Exactly, right? And you love it, go.
Yeah, so the point around that is what she does is she does a nice photo and then a really quick and like witty caption that's really, really short. And then all of a sudden, boom, she took off on Instagram, and she became like this sensation. Generally speaking, especially for the people who are watching this video, if you're a real estate agent, salesperson, and you're really just trying to connect and attract your crowd, you gotta give value, right? So like a little quick, like every now and then, maybe a funny caption works, but I think if you write a long form caption where you're really describing what the video says, because keep in mind, some people are not actually listening to your video with the volume on. They're either on the couch, they're supposed to be watching a movie, or they're in the bathroom, whatever it is that they're doing. You wanna make sure that you give them an opportunity to still learn, and you can only do that really either by doing a long, like written caption, or getting the subtitles on the video.
And, you know, when you do your 26-second videos, you might not have unpacked and or elaborated fully on 1, 2, or all 3 points that you made in that 26-second video. Now in this long caption, like, look, Laura, I mean, I'm not saying it because you're sitting beside me. I always tell people that I think you do a way better job than me in 2 things when it comes to content. One, the fact that you have a lot more variety than I do. Like I go really...
Yeah, you're boring.
Well, no, I said a lot more variety. So as I was trying to give you some kudos here, like you had to throw something at me. I get it. But see, I'm a big boy. I can handle the constructive criticism.
Yeah, right. You're gonna go home and cry.
No, I'm gonna be. That happens in the car. So, when you, number one, you have more variety in your content. You share a lot more stuff other than just real estate. And then number 2, you write long form. You write your long form captions. Now, where do you get inspired from there? Like where do you get the inspiration from? Okay, and then B, somebody who doesn't have it, I'll cover where they can get some resources. So putting you on the spot, where do you get the inspiration?
So where do I get the inspiration from is usually from my actual clients. So
Okay.
they're either emailing me or I've spoken to them on the phone. Maybe we're in person at lunch and they're asking me a question. And that usually prompts, oh, if they're asking this question, that usually means, I think you always say this, that means how many people?
I think it's reflective of 10,000 people.
Exactly. So one question from one person means 10,000 people probably also have that same question.
But they're scared to ask it.
They're scared to ask it because a lot of people don't want to look stupid. And us as real estate agents, we think that
You
people
don't have
know
a
the
problem
lingo.
like looking stupid.
No, never. I look stupid on the daily.
That was my shot to get you back. That was my shot to go.
So yeah, so I get inspiration from my clients, and what I'm trying to do in the captions is give them as much value as I can, because as to your point, you can't always give context in that minute video.
And what I think is very important is the fact to understand that you might not be like Laura and you be able to write long form. Like I can't. It takes a lot more focus for me to actually go 3 paragraphs, for example. And that's, I think, would you consider that being kind of long form on an Instagram?
Yeah.
Like maybe 5 sentences each or something.
Yeah.
So call it, 12, 15 sentences. Because some people just put one emoji. What I want to do is, if you're watching and listening and you're someone like myself who has a little tougher time, I have probably, and we as FTGU have probably about, 5 to 6 different resources, and most of them are free. It's not going to cost you a penny. I just can't think about them, think about them off the top of my head right now, those actual resources, but we have the links that we can actually send to you. All you got to do is just put in the comments of wherever you're watching, or simply send an email to info@ftgumedia.com and just put in copywriting software. Just put that in there in the subject line or whatever you remember out of this conversation, and then we'll have the team send you those resources that can make, like, you literally put in home buying video as in the search function, and then it gives you a long form
Okay,
caption.
we're getting flagged down here because
Got
it's
it.
already at 10 minutes,
Yeah.
but we still have 2 more points here,
Go.
okay? So I
Cover
just
them
want to
quickly.
cover
Go.
them quickly.
Yeah.
So the first one, you kind of touched on it. Open up about your brand. So what
Yeah.
does that mean? Be authentic. Showcase some things about yourself. Showcase you playing with a dog, which is what I just did earlier today. Like, people want to see the human element, and so I think that's really important. And the second thing I wanted to just cover off last, and maybe you can touch on this, is when is your best time to post? So my insights and my algorithm might be different than Jazz's, and maybe because I live in Toronto, Canada, it might be different than if you live in Michigan, for example.
And the type of followers you have. It's based on that. Like I tend to, like, my insights. So go to your settings on Instagram. It's the 3 buttons on the top right hand side on the platform, and then I think it's like the 3rd or 4th button, which is insights. You'll find out exactly everything about your followers, but then at the bottom of that, it will also tell you the best time for you to post based on when your followers are on the platform. I always advise, have your posts set up and actually posted about 15 minutes before that best time. So if it's, for example, for me, it's 8 a.m., 12 p.m., 3 p.m., and 9 p.m. And that's on like Monday to Friday. My Saturdays, Sundays are little different times, but there it will also tell you, like, do you have more male followers than female followers? And you can guess.
And it gives you an age
I have
bracket.
a lot more male followers than females because
Chicks aren't coming to check you out?
Not my face. But it also tells you the age demographic. You said Toronto, Michigan,
Yeah.
Baltimore, whatever.
Yeah.
It's quite in depth, the analytics and this wasn't like this even a year ago on Instagram. Definitely not 2 years ago. So you can get a lot of information, but that bottom one for what Laura's talking about, the best times, that is right at the bottom of the insights. It'll tell you the best times to post, and then you get your post up about 15 minutes before that.
So just to add on to that,
Yeah.
if that all sounds very overwhelming and you're not currently really posting anything on the platform, scrap everything that we just said in terms of the best time to post and just post. Yeah. Post whenever you get 5 minutes and you can do it, because just getting the content out there is more important than nailing down the exact right time to post. Okay, guys? I also want you guys to let us know what burning questions you have so that we can do our next podcast episode on that. So be sure to leave them in the comments, and we'll see you next time. Almost left you dry there.
Yeah, I wouldn't have been surprised.